That's another thing, that's to be considered. Like when I'm posting this testimony, throughout the years, and I'm just talking about things that's happening in my life. I didn't know, as like a add-on to my last recording, I didn't know about these places. You feel me? Like, I've never been to these cities. None of the cities involved at that point in my life. I had never left anywhere. I had never been anywhere else, until like 2016. And even then I haven't been like some of the main places where people saying that, or people implying that, the places, people, places, and things, what the facts show, it's highly likely had something to do with the persecution. So think about it. Like at that point in my life, it's no way possible I could have known. You know what I'm saying? It's no way possible I could have known that these places had anything to do with what was happening to me, where I was, from the understanding that I had about life. You feel me? I did not know that these places were involved with this. I had never been to those places. I didn't know anything about those places ever. So I would never had expected, that would have been the situation. And so that's why it was so strange. And I was never informed, told, instructed. I had no indication, at that time. You feel me? Like, I learned, you feel me, by like just deductive reasoning. And, and it turns out I was right. You feel me? By a stroke of luck, it turns out, this was right. And it wasn't luck, it was God. God already knew everything. I didn't know. I'm like a child, literally. I did not know, I didn't know the magnitude of the attack I was under in the first place. I didn't know. So let alone that these places, and entities and stuff I had no clue, literally. How I could have known. There's no way possible I could have known. I had never been to those places. I didn't know anything about those places. About as close as most people get to those places, via television or media, and art and stuff like that. That's the only closest interaction that you have with those people, places, and things. Like otherwise, it just was that. That's where it stops at. Like, it was more occupied. I was more preoccupied with what was happening in my direct life, like as far as my everyday life. So I had never been there. So there's no way I would have known or, suspected that such had anything to do with what was happening to my life where I was, which was not there. You feel me? So it didn't make any sense to me,